Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating narrative trick. We're looking at how writers craft a deeply, truly satisfying comeback, and ironically, they do it by utterly destroying their protagonist first. I mean, think about it. If you want your audience to absolutely cheer for a triumph, you've got to drag them through a devastating tragedy first.
So, for all you aspiring writers, creators, or even just story lovers out there, I want to throw this core narrative challenge your way. Think about your absolute favorite stories. How do you make that eventual victory feel truly earned? How do you make it resonate on a visceral gut level? Well, you can't just have your heroes stumble. You can't just give them a bad Tuesday.
No, actually, you have to completely tear down everything they built. Literally every single thing. We're going to deconstruct this brutal but essential storytelling answer by looking at a highly effective 4-beat sequence. We're zeroing in on the betrayal and exile segment of a narrative arc, and we'll be using a masterclass in this technique from the classic Korean historical drama, Jewel in the Palace. This right here is the emotional rock bottom.
Okay, let's begin with beat 1, the frame-up.
To see how a trap is sprung right at the peak of a hero's success, let's look at the timeline of the infamous Sulphur Duck incident. Our protagonist, Dae Jang Geum, and her mentor, Lady Han, are at the absolute top of their game here. At minute 0, they prepare a prestigious meal. But then, just 30 minutes later, the king mysteriously and violently falls ill. Within the hour, the rival Choi clan points the finger, calling it a deliberate assassination attempt. Fast forward to hour 2, and the royal guards are literally storming the kitchen. It's crazy how quickly writers can just collapse a character's entire world using a rapid-fire chain of chaotic events.
Now notice the dramatic irony going on here. As the audience, we know for a fact that the king's illness is actually just a pre-existing medical condition, but the rival Choi clan? They seize this golden opportunity to frame our heroes. And man, this drives the audience crazy. It makes us feel totally powerless watching characters we love suddenly facing the ultimate penalty, which is death for high treason. The rivals don't just want to win control of the kitchen anymore, they want their competition completely wiped out.
That brings us to beat 2, crushing institutional power.
Here, the narrative shifts into an incredibly heavy, oppressive reality. To make this rock bottom feel truly inescapable, the writers lean into the brutal facts of the Joseon judicial system, showing exactly how political elites could just crush commoners. Dae Jang Geum and Lady Han aren't just politely questioned, right? They are subjected to severe physical torture specifically designed to extract a false confession. The actual truth? It literally does not matter. The political factions have already predetermined the verdict, and the Choi clan is effortlessly manipulating the whole investigation. It perfectly highlights the character's utter helplessness.
So the really crucial takeaway here is that writers are deliberately using this corruption as a structural tool. Think about it. Up until this very moment, Jang Geum's talent and relentless hard work have always saved the day. But here, the writers are proving that her incredible skills are completely, 100% useless against systemic, institutional corruption. It raises the stakes immensely because the protagonist's primary weapon has just been rendered entirely ineffective.
Moving right along to beat 3, a tragic journey.
Thankfully, because a few remaining allies intervene, their death sentences are actually commuted to a lifetime of slavery. But look at how systematically their lives are dismantled here. Step 1, they are completely stripped of their hard-earned royal titles. Step 2, they're literally branded as government slaves. And Step 3, they are banished to the remote Jeju Island. This is a harsh, incredibly isolated environment way out across the sea from the capital. The story physically rips them away from the world they fought so hard to conquer.
And then, you guys, comes the real heartbreak. The physical toll of the torture combined with this arduous journey is just too much. By deliberately lingering on this physical and emotional toll, the narrative delivers its most devastating scene yet. Lady Han actually dies right there in Jang Geum's arms before they even reach the island. So now Jang Geum is left completely alone. She's lost her mother figure for a second time, and her absolute last remaining source of comfort is gone. Which brings us to the final stage, beat 4, absolute rock bottom.
This is that critical moment in a story's structure, where we, the audience, have to truly believe that there is no silver lining left. The sheer drop the protagonist has experienced is visually jarring. I mean, we go from the lavish, colorful, bustling palace kitchen straight to the stark reality of the cold, windswept shores of Jeju Island. It's a visual contrast that tells the audience exactly how far she's fallen, without a single word being spoken.
The brutal reality check here is absolute. Jang Geum is now a branded slave. Her lifelong dream of becoming the highest kitchen lady,
it's permanently destroyed. Why? Because the rules of this world are crystal clear. A criminal can never re-enter the palace. That door isn't just closed, it is slammed shut, padlocked, and the key is tossed into the ocean.
But every perfect rock bottom needs one very specific thing: the loophole.
Because just as Jang Geum is seriously contemplating giving up entirely, she crosses paths with the fellow exile, this brilliant, eccentric doctor, and suddenly, a tiny spark is lit. You see, to master this narrative structure, you actually have to end your rock bottom sequence right here. You leave your audience desperate for the answer, making them realize that yes, while the kitchen door is permanently closed, an entirely new, incredibly dangerous, and seemingly impossible path has just opened up. That is how you guarantee your audience is going to stick around for the comeback. So, I want to leave you with this to ponder for your own stories. When the front door to your protagonist's dream is bolted shut forever, what impossible loophole will you force them to find?